The dogs and I just spent 9 weeks with my family in northwest Missouri. This is one of my favorite places on earth. I grew up here, and my family has lived here for over 100 years. The dogs and I have a lot of freedom here. Freedom to roam, to play in the woods, to swim in the lake, to walk down the bluff road off-leash, to put our bare toes in the soil and touch the earth. It wasn't until I moved to West Texas almost 17 years ago that I realized how privileged I was to grow up in such a beautiful, peaceful place. Like most kids, I couldn't wait to leave, to see the world. But throughout the decades, I've found myself always returning to this piece of land. Years ago at an art show, a young man asked about a photo I made near my grandparents' house and where my parents now live. I explained how much this place means to me, how it's been in my family for generations, how the same trees stood over my granddad, my dad, and me. They have sheltered us, shed their leaves year after year, lost branches to wild storms, and grown roots that reach beyond what our eyes can see. My own roots are intertwined with them. The young man looked up at me and said, "It's almost like land is family." I nodded and said, "Yes, land is family." I guess you could say that I've been bouncing back and forth between family members for years now. The woodlands, the mountains, the plains, the river bottoms, the deserts. I treasure my time with each of them, and I eagerly wish to share them with everyone I meet. My time in the woodlands is done for now. Now, the dogs and I head back to the southern plains of West Texas. Well, we only went about 3 hours last night. We stopped at this park in Kansas. Pretty place. And there's a camper down the way from us a little ways, but they're the only ones that I saw last night when we came in. Definitely gonna bookmark this spot since we drive this route a lot. Okay. Stay right here. Okay, break. Good job. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't use it right away, but I know I'm gonna need it. Barely. Cappy got my seat muddy. Well, we're back on the road this morning. We left yesterday late afternoon and drove about 3 hours. Found a great lake in Kansas that we definitely are going to bookmark and come back to. We drive this route a lot between West Texas and Northwest Missouri, so that's going to be a keeper for sure. We're on the road again this morning. Have about 8 hours to drive, I think. We're just going to take our time today because we don't have to really be anywhere until tomorrow morning. So, yeah, just taking our time on this drive and enjoying it. Needless to say, this trip didn't end the way I'd hoped. We made it about an hour and a half north of Lubbock when I looked in my driver's side mirror and saw white smoke rolling out from underneath the van. I pulled over and looked under the van to find transmission fluid spilling out onto the pavement. It was just after 5 o'clock p.m. and most shops in the small town I was near were already closed, but I did find one that was able to help us out. The tow service they used was closed for the day, though, so we had to leave Guinevere parked alongside the interstate overnight. The shop sent out a service tech to pick up the dogs and me and bring us to a hotel in town for the night. It wouldn't be until the next afternoon that I would learn of Guinevere's fate. Tune in next week to find out. Or click on the community tab and check out my daily posts. See you next week, all.